Okay, all right, let's do this. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Project Management Central, which is our one of our cloud products. It found its roots as one of our on-premises products for SharePoint 2013, 2016, and 2019, which is still available to customers. But today we're going to go over some of the updates that we've made to our cloud version of that product, and talk a little bit about some of the innovations that are coming, as well as for some of our other products as well in the cloud space. So again, if you don't know who we are Bamboo Solutions. We are a product and services company in the SharePoint space, whether that's Office 365, SharePoint Online, or in your on-premises environment with SharePoint On-Prem 2013, 2016, and 2019 versions. We have been around for quite some time. I think we're coming up on 2 decades in this particular space, this industry, this sort of Microsoft partnership, if you will. We are a Microsoft Gold partner, and we take that very seriously. We work alongside Microsoft and some of the MVPs in the industry to ensure that we're following best practices and that our implementations are in line with the vision of Microsoft as a whole. Also, we are working. We are a global leader, as it says there, in products and services. I don't understand. Nope. We're working. Thanks a lot, Siri. So most people don't know that about Bamboo Solutions. We've been around like I said, in the industry for quite some time, mainly as a product company. We provide a full suite of products at that. But over time, we've actually merged and acquired, or been acquired by a company, a little consulting boutique, if you will, named SharePoint Experts. And so now we have both, the best of both worlds. We have this wonderful services team who can support and extend and configure and administrate all of these SharePoint farms that are out there that had our product installed or do have them installed. And as you can see there, with over 8,000 customers served worldwide, there's quite a few people there that were in need of SharePoint help. And so this services team is a very good offering for that, and can help with pretty much anything SharePoint Microsoft related. Real quick, we are using the GoToWebinar tool here. If you're not familiar with that, there is a chat and question type of functionality there. So if you are looking to ask some questions, you can please do leverage that. I'll be monitoring that as we go through the webinar here. If you are more comfortable with email communication, then please just send those questions at any time to sales@bamboosolutions.com, and I can get back to you that way as well. Pardon me here. I was trying to get the webcam going today, but it doesn't appear to be working in my GoToWebinar, so I apologize for that. Yeah, let's keep going. So going to be a quick one today. Thanks again, though, for jumping in. It's going to be just a quick touch point on those Project Management Central updates, and I'm just going to call out some other things that we're working on so that you know what to expect here in the future from us on some of our other products. These are some of our larger customers that we've supported worldwide, products and services both. So just be aware that we do deal with all sizes of, I guess, requirements and questions around capabilities and ways to extend or even enhance processes that you have in your organization. We're very in touch at all levels of sizes of organizations. I do want to just talk just briefly here, a couple of slides about services, because people are so unaware of our offering in that space. We have 3 categories of services that we can provide if you guys do need some help, you guys and gals need some help with SharePoint, whether that's on-premises or SharePoint online. We have our product services division, or I guess category, that allows us to really kind of hone in on those things that you want to use our product for in your particular use case. So we can go in, help you extend that, configure those products that you've purchased from us, and really tailor them to meet your needs. So there's all kinds of details on that. We also have SharePoint services, just SharePoint generic services, where we can come in and do anything SharePoint for you or help you with. Maybe get you through a stuck, maybe get you through an outage. Any of those kinds of things we can assist with. We also have package services. So I'm just going to touch on those real quick. So the Bamboo product services, just a quick list there of things that we can do with you on that side. So one-on-one coaching, some build your own there. We can help you design and configure, like I said, those products to really match your processes. SharePoint services, anything you can imagine. We do anything from custom development, JavaScript-based solutions, to really kind of provide solutions around the type of functionality that your organization specifically is needing or looking for. as well as prescribe some out-of-the-box type of solutions, right? So the full gamut there, design and UI, architecture guidance, with all of the landscape that is Office 365 today, all the apps that are being presented to us by Microsoft, right? Understanding how to leverage those capabilities, how to actually architect them, configure them, provide an intuitive user experience for your people and your organization to leverage all of those capabilities. Yeah, we understand it can be kind of complex and may need a little bit more hand holding or maybe just some training on how best to use that functionality. So those SharePoint services we find to be quite often in need. As for package services, so we kind of took some of those concepts where we found people needing SharePoint expertise in some way or another, and we packaged them up. So we said, what we're finding is that a lot of people are calling us saying, hey, we're not really sure what's going on with our farm. It doesn't seem to be acting right. Could you help us? And so we created a SharePoint health check package, which allows us to come in, analyze, run some scripts on your farm that kind of tell us the health of all of the different things that go into making the farm run correctly. So we got a health check there. We also found that SQL is another thing, right? So we've got these SQL servers and we got these teams that manage our SQL farms, and then our SharePoint farms may be a whole different team. And over time, we've gone through SharePoint migrations and changed versions of product, but maybe our SQL didn't change. And so SQL may be in some weird state of needing some sort of a health check to identify those kind of bottlenecks or those anomalies that are kind of left over there from the migrations. A couple of other things there, discovery for cloud. We know that people are coming off of the on-premises environments and really moving towards that Office 365 world. And a lot of the times there's just a ton of questions, what's going to happen to this? How does this go over there? Where does it go over there? How do we set this up? So these discoveries really let us come in, sit down with you, build a relationship, determine that we're good for each other, right? That you trust us, we trust you, and we're going to do good things together. And that's really key to us, is really building those strong relationships with our customers and making sure that there's something that we both want to do long term. And discoveries are the first part of that. It's really getting us in there and understanding your problem set. And then the My SharePoint Expert Program. This is really because there's so much SharePoint out there in the world, especially where we live in the DC area or the major metropolitan areas where you have government agencies or big industries that support, local, state, and federal governments. SharePoint's just widely adopted in that space. And a lot of the times getting help on SharePoint in those particular organizations, it's cumbersome, and they may have to go through some vendor vetting process, or for whatever reason, it's difficult to get help. And so this My SharePoint Expert Program is really around giving you access to expertise just by submitting a ticket to our help desk. We'll answer your call. We'll give you 15 minutes, and you describe to us the problem. If we can't give you an answer in that 15-minute window, then we'll say, hey, well, we think we understand what you're asking for. We've seen this before, and here's how we can resolve it if you want to bring us in, right? Start working with us on this hourly basis. All of our services are charged at $165 an hour. It's a meshed rate, so whether you need an admin, a developer, an architect, it's all $165 an hour, and you may need a different role a different day, right? So anyways, that's the concept behind My SharePoint Expert Program. For more information on that, you can reach us on the website. There's a whole services navigation item there that can get you plugged in and get you some information on that. Okay, today, a couple of things we're going to talk about. Really going to focus in on Project Management Central, because that's really what this webinar is for. We do have some other updates, though, that I just kind of want to highlight. What I'm trying to do now is a monthly update on our cloud products, because we are developing fast and furious on these things. And as soon as they start to come out near testing, I want to get those out into the world so that people can know what is coming very shortly here following our testing and success there. So today, anyways, Project Management Central we're going to get into. We're actually going to navigate around that in a web browser and kind of show some of those updates. Excited about that. Knowledge-based cloud part, if you're not familiar, runs in SharePoint Online. All of our cloud parts run in SharePoint Online and SharePoint on-premises 2013, 2016, and 2019 versions. The knowledge-based cloud parts got some new updates, got some new great functionality around category management, the view that users actually navigate for filtering, sorting, grouping, things like that. So just a whole bunch of options coming out here shortly to allow you to configure that and access the content in a better way. Chart Plus also has some updates coming. Chart Plus is getting some new options for configuration. So what we're getting is customer feedback on these products, and they're letting us know that, I'd really like to be able to, have my labels on my charts go 45-degree diagonally because they're so long and they take up so much vertical space, things like that, right? Like nice enhancements. If you're not familiar with our Chart Plus product, it's just a simple way to plug in some data from Sharepoint and get it charted. So adding more features and functionality to that, right, becomes a more rich and robust solution here moving forward. So we do everything here at Bamboo in an iterative approach. Everybody in the company is a certified Scrum Master, so we all talk the same language. We're all believing in the same agile processes. So we do work on the same 2-week sprints as a whole company, and so it's nice to sort of have everyone working in that same direction, talking the same language in the same time frame. And that's kind of how we're able to produce these, constant and continuous updates that we live and breathe. So new cloud parts are coming. Super excited about that. So our goal over the next 1.5, 2 years is to get all of our on-premises products moved over and migrated into cloud products so that they can work in SharePoint Online as well. Just the huge demand of migration to Office 365 is kind of driving the market there. So when we get these products converted over from .NET C# code that used to work in SharePoint on premises only, now we've got the ability to take these products, now put them in the cloud because they're JavaScript-based solutions nowadays using the SharePoint framework or whatever technologies we find to be a good fit there for deployment and implementation. So anyways, these are the first 3 that are coming over after the initial 12 that we have out now. So we'll look at a couple of screens here in a moment that'll show you the 12 we have if you're not familiar, but these 3 coming out, filter collection is going to let us really get through content and refine things that we're looking for and actually apply filters to lists data in more of a dynamic way than just standard out of the box SharePoint list views do. Then we also have KPI column coming out. So that's a long time on-premises product that is now being converted over to a cloud product. The KPI column is just a great way for us to quickly generate KPIs in our list, and we're actually going to see that implemented in Project Management Central today. And then we also have Navigators coming out. So there was this real demand for global navigation in SharePoint Online, and so this product aimed to solve that problem. Even kind of going above and beyond our hub site navigation or architecture, and our hub navigation that comes with that nowadays in modern SharePoint. This Navigators product allows us to sort of centralize the list somewhere in our farm and then point to that from all site collections to maintain and utilize the same navigation across all of it, as well as has a whole bunch of customization features to it that will allow you to really refine it into something that maybe matches your corporate branding as closely as you'd like. And it's using the Office Fabric UI, if you're familiar with that, and that's Microsoft's design patterns or library, if you will, for SharePoint Online design. So it should just fit right in. Okay, just one more thing to call out here for nice to knows. We've been unretiring on-premises products as well as market has demanded. So if you are on SharePoint 2013, 2016, or 2019, these 5 products here are being unretired and added back to the active library of solutions that we are providing to you. So if you're interested in any information on those, you should be able to find that on our website or just reach out to me. Okay, let's take a look at PMC Cloud. So what I've got today is a preview version. This is not yet released, so you're seeing this in somewhat of a dev environment. So I apologize for maybe the poor naming of projects here, but this is so that we can populate mass amounts of data, get it tested, and I wanted to put this out in front of you guys before we even get it onto the store shelf so that you can see that. So if you're not familiar with Project Management Central, we do have lots of recorded webinars, past webinars on our YouTube channel and on this GoToWebinar tool for you to review. So you can always go back and check those out if you're looking for anything more deep as a deep dive into some of the subjects here. Today, I'm just going to briefly touch on some of the things that we've updated. So not going to be a deep dive into how to use Project Management Central because that's been done already. So this is just a touch on the newer items. Okay, so here we are. This is a SPFX, a SharePoint framework solution that works in SharePoint Online. It can work in SharePoint On-Prem, like I said many times before. This is an Angular application. And so when you add this web part to a web page, modern or classic in SharePoint Online, it's going to consume the UI. And you'll notice that we still retain our SharePoint app launcher bar up across the top, so I can still navigate SharePoint and all of my other Office 365 apps. But for the most part, we've taken over the UI for the body of the page. So now our app has full screen real estate and can really leverage, the capability of getting your users focused in on the content we're looking at and not necessarily the rest of SharePoint's fluff that may distract. So here we are on our landing page for this app, and that's the project portfolio. Right off the bat, you're going to see there's another tab across the top up here from My Tasks. And if I click on that, what that does is it goes across all the projects in this entire portfolio and shows me, the currently logged in user, the tasks I have across all of the projects that are in the portfolio that I'm in. So this may be a good working backlog for me on the daily. So I come into the project portfolio, I click my tasks. Oh, look at that, based on due date, I probably next upcoming due is going to, I got a bunch of overdue here, so don't pay attention to that. But we've got a lot of stuff to work on here, and I can sort and refine and navigate this list of tasking that I need to go take action on across the portfolio. So this is a good tool, a good day-to-day tool there. So if I go back to the project portfolio, you're going to notice not only these two tabs across the top, but you're going to notice the portfolio content here in the body, as well as navigation for navigating the portfolio itself. So we've got our project portfolio. We've got a way here to add new departments and new projects. This particular menu item here is limited to those that you grant in the system to have that privilege to be able to add new projects and new departments. So not everyone might see this. But if I add a new department, it really is a simple form just to give a department a name and to sort of categorize projects and be able to contain them or classify them under a certain umbrella, right? So I could create a new department and give it a name. I could give it some owners, and the owners have full management of that department, metadata, and all those things that go around a department, as well as department viewers. And so viewers are able to come in as viewers and access the projects that are related to this department, but they can't actually interact with them unless they're assigned tasking in there or eventually made an owner level to create new things in there. So we've got departments and we've got projects. And so really the hierarchy of Project Management Central is that you have a portfolio level up top, you have departments below that, and then below departments you can have projects. Projects don't have to be related to a department. It's just a way to organize them, though, if you want to. So if I grant, John and Sally access to the finance department, and then I build projects and make them related to the finance department, then John and Sally are the only ones that are going to see those projects. Unless, like I said before, a user is granted or assigned a task within there, then they would see that task at least. And that's really what departments are about. It's about containerizing, categorizing, classifying projects, and then protecting them with security. So just to go down the left navigation here, we got our milestone calendar. So within our projects, which we haven't actually gone into and looked at yet, we have milestones. And milestones allow us to highlight those things, those major milestones in projects, so that we can roll them up to the portfolio level, and our management team or our executive teams, they may want to come here and be able to get a good look at what the milestones are looking like, how we're looking as far as delivering on those milestones, and et cetera. So if I click on the milestone calendar, all we're going to do is visualize those milestones in a 30-day calendar view with all kinds of functionality around it too. It looks like a lot of our milestones are going to be in the past. So if I was to go back in time, you can start to see those load up here. This is using our Calendar Plus product. So what you're going to find is that PMC, Project Management Central here, this particular app is a sort of a conglomeration of multiple products that we offer put into and around a particular use case, which is project management. So this is Calendar Plus. It's got all the same functionality that you might expect from Calendar Plus if you've used it from us before. We've got our tooltips. When we hover over events here, I can actually click on these things and get some more information by opening those up. I can filter things out in the legend filter down here. So if I decided that this is a little cluttered, I don't want to see particularly this calendar, which is the purple one here, then I can uncheck that and it will remove it from the view, right? So I've got some quick filtering capabilities here to clean that up. Then I've also got different filters across the top right here to look at my milestone calendar in different views. So I can look at it in the 3-month, the quarter, the year, agenda view. And then also, have all these export capabilities to use as well. So maybe I want to take some of this with me to a meeting. I want to export it, present it in maybe a presentation to my team, so I can get that stuff into various formats to include that in my agenda and whatnot. All right, so that's a quick look there. And then settings, last but not least, there in the left navigation, we've got our ability to manage the project management tool itself. So you have project creators and you have project templates. And so project creators are sort of that high level admin. Just disregard some of this. There's a lot of admins we got in our system here, but yeah, you add a person here and then they become a creator and can actually utilize this functionality for creating new projects and new departments. And so that's sort of your admin management system there. And then we have templates, the concept of templates as well. So you'll see how we can save a project as a template here in a moment, but you can always come back in and modify templates. And so templates are just sorry, a set of metadata around a particular project. But when we make templates, we can also tell it that we would like to store the tasks and the documents and all the assets around that project within the template as well. So when we provision new projects based on a template, we have sort of a jump start. A common scenario around here might be an RFP process or a proposal process, right? And so maybe we want to create a template that's all about a project being a proposal effort. And so when we provision this new project based on the proposal template, that project gets built, and it's already got all the tasks and all the milestones that are usually identified with new projects. And it would also have all the assets and documents that would be required to actually go through the proposal effort, right? So that's just an idea there. All right, so what we're going to do now is just dive in. Well, actually, let me touch on a couple things here that I haven't touched on. Some of the new updates to Project Management Central recently have been this new grid that we've implemented here. So the new grid gives us an ability to filter, sort, search, all that stuff, using some newer functionality that's faster than the previous version. We also have this new toggle here to look at all projects in the system as opposed to the ones that are just recently active and pending. Now, if you've seen our Project Management Central app previously, then you probably know or have noticed that the KPIs here are new. This is new to Project Management Central as of, I think, last sprint, 2 weeks ago. And so we've now, like I said before, KPI column is coming as a product in the Cloud Parts section, but here it is already actually implemented into our Project Management Central solution. And these KPIs are configurable such that you can tell it what the metrics are that would warrant the particular icon you see here, right? So we're doing 3 levels of KPIs now. We're going to do it against the schedule, how your tasks look against the overall schedule of when the project is due. And then we're also going to do KPIs for the issues related to this particular project and the risks related to that project. And you'll notice that it updates in real time as the portfolio is refreshed or if someone accesses this page, it actually goes out, fetches, and recalculates that dynamically so that you're always dealing with the most latest updated information. So if we go into a project here, I've got one for Azure DevOps rollout. This project has obviously a title and a breadcrumb to understand contextually where you're at within the application, as well as the start date and end date for this particular project. We have a way to view the tasking in board view using our Planner Plus product. So this will allow you to Kanban view your tasks for this project because everyone loves Trello and Planner nowadays. So we can use that here. We can move things between statuses, and we can actually work on these particular tasks within the view. So this not being new functionality here, but the new things here on this particular side of project management, within a project, we now have this issue health and we have this risk health icon up here to let you know right up front for this particular project, we've got some issues, right? Our issues are unhealthy and our risks are unhealthy currently. Also, we've added some highlighting here to show overdue items. So the due date has definitely passed on this item. So we've called that out with some red text to give you a nice right in your face, uh-oh, let's fix that kind of thing. Just some low-level project PMC functionality here that we've had for a long time, right? The status of the particular project, the ability to copy this project link out and then send that off to users within the organization so that you can work on those. We also have the ability to create the template. So if I click Create Template, what it's going to do is take a snapshot of the current tasking in this project, the items in the calendar, the items in the document library, the issues and risks, and it's going to snapshot all of that and save it back as a template that we can manage now back in the portfolio. So a real quick, handy way to templatize things. So what you may do upon initial implementation of PMC is actually go and set up some base projects that have, sort of the things that you would do in the future when you create new projects and you want included in them. You would go ahead and set that up, save it as a template, and then now you can provision your new projects moving forward with all of that sort of jump started. So here we are again, like project landing page here for this particular project, Azure DevOps. If I ever want to edit the properties around the entire project, like maybe I do need to extend out the end date for the project because things are slipping to the right, I can edit the properties by hitting that pencil icon up there, and I can move these dates out, right? When I move dates in tasks, so particularly, let's look at this overdue task we've called out here. I just updated it a moment ago, so I didn't have so many red items, but in a task specifically, since I am assigned to this task and I have some reason to work with this task, I have the ability to edit it. If I was not working within this task and I wasn't a project creator in the system, then I would not have the ability to edit this icon because I have no reason to. And I also would have no ability to delete these tasks as well. So if I edit a task, so we've got a task name, a description, a start, and a due date. If I change dates here and I say, actually, let me look back here. What's the next 1.6 here? Let's say I've got to move this out, right? Let's say we're not going to finish this till Monday. Well, I know that some other tasks are kind of coming after this one, and they probably need to move out too. Since I moved this one out 3 days, then they probably need to move out 3 days too, because they're still going to take the same amount of time. They're synchronous, so they require this one to be finished first. So we've added this functionality to be able to extend those out, those subsequent tasks out, as long as, or the amount of days that we've calculated you've changed this to up here. So kind of cool, some automation there to help you with your scheduling. So we have our assigned to, our task status, priority complete, and then you can identify this as a milestone as well. All right, so that's task management in the system. Over on the left navigation here, you'll notice that the navigation changed based on where we were at contextually, right? So if I go back to the project portfolio, you'll notice that we're just managing in the navigation those things that relate to the portfolio. But if I go back within a project, now I've got things that pertain to this project specifically. So I've got my document library. And all we've done really is we've embedded your SharePoint library that's specific to this project. So we build a SharePoint library in the back end just for this project. And that way you don't lose all the functionality that you might expect in a SharePoint Online document library. So you've still got the ribbon, you still got everything you need to provision new workflows and Microsoft flows and things like that, as well as the versioning. So there's no way we were going to recreate a document storage solution, especially since we're in SharePoint. That's why we love it so much, right? So this allows you to continue to use that, but really give you access right to it from within the application. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. Sorry about that. Let me get back to my PMC page here. All right, let me go back to Azure DevOps. Okay, so we got through document library. Now we got our project calendar. So previously we looked at the portfolio calendar, which highlighted all the milestones across all the projects in the system, but this is specific, this calendar here is specific to the Azure DevOps rollout project. So these are the tasks being plotted on a 30-day calendar with the capabilities that I demonstrated previously on the portfolio calendar. So you still have your filtering for your different timelines to look at these things. Here's the agenda view, right? So Thursday, all day, we've got this overdue task we got to be working on. For the 3-month period, we've got something like that. And then I can export them, et cetera, et cetera. So then we go down to charts. This is something more recent, but not real new. So we decided that we needed some charting around that, something to visualize the amount of tasking and maybe where all that tasking is at. So we've got our task status chart up here. We can see how many tasks we have total, or what the percentage is, broken down by task status. So, we've got a lot of tasks here not started. And if we look at our project due date, we might want to double check ourselves and start to really focus in on getting some work done here. We have our assigned to, so that we can see the disbursement of work across the team. So, it looks like Derek here has got 11 tasks and Kevin's got 1. I might want to delegate some of that out because Derek's a little overworked. And then we have our percent complete. So you look at the list of all tasks within this particular project, and you can see where they are as far as completeness goes. For some reason, we've got a 1.2% or 100, something like that, over 100% complete task potential there. That's pretty awesome. So then we have our issues and risks. So this is fairly new. This is really what's driving those KPIs that get rolled up to the portfolio level, though. So issues are where we can identify the things that are issues with our current project and give it some information around that, as well as status, so that that can be calculated to provide a KPI. So in issues, we're tracking a particular title for the issue. We have whether or not we want to factor this into the overall project health. And if it is being factored in, then that does impact that portfolio level KPI that we saw earlier. We have a couple of options for the status of this particular issue. We have a due date for the issue, and we also have some assigned to some related tasks if it does make sense to relate this to some tasking we have ongoing. We have some categories prescribed here for the types of issues you might have, whether that's scheduling, resources, scope requirements, other. And then we also have priority, description, and comment. So you can actually keep some comments in here to sort of have a discussion around this particular issue. It's very similar to risks. So we do track risks in the system. So risks have more data being collected around them so that eventually here in the future, maybe in the short-term future, we will be providing that 5x5 risk matrix that we're all familiar with and have seen in sort of the risk management space. So we are starting to collect that data here so that we can now drop in that chart here in a future update, and it will just light up with all the risks that you've already entered into the system. So here, same thing, we're tracking some status against this particular risk and whether or not you want to factor that into the overall health of the project. And then we have the probability, the impact, and the cost associated. Down here, we've got description, mitigation plan. If we do have a mitigation plan, this is pretty much a free-form field, so you can fill that up with some content. You can come up with your contingency plans here, and you can kind of document and monitor those. And then also, what kind of trigger applies to this risk? Is this a date-based trigger for risk? Is this an exposure over a threshold or a task not being completed risk, right? And that'll help us sort of maybe do some retrospectives on our projects and understand the various impacts and the risks associated with future projects. And then we have a description field there. So again, standard grid views here of those so that you can, if you get this populated with lots of data, it'll be easy for you to find the things you're looking for by either searching, sorting, or et cetera. So last but not least, we have our project settings, and this is newer, so you may not have seen this yet. So we have now some settings to configure to help you identify how to present those KPIs back on that project portfolio. So here we can look at schedule health. So these are the three KPIs you see there: schedule health, issue health, and risk health. So here we're specifying the numbers associated with, and so it is fairly well prescribed here as to how those KPIs get generated. And it's asking, show the green check mark when in progress overdue tasks are less than 0, then we're green, right? We got nothing overdue, everything's healthy. And then show the yellow when we have 1 or more, and then red will be pretty much anything over 1. So it's the same kind of calculations as you go down the KPIs here to mark those, but you can move these numbers around based on your sort of risk appetite, I guess, and kind of customize that for yourself. We do have task status filters, so we can show or hide these various task status types, so we can not load up. So if you want to show completed tasks on the project homepage, you can. If you want to show the deferred ones, etc. Right now, we've chosen to show just in progress ones. And then we have the task priority filter to show. Right now, we want to show all 3. So that's pretty new too, pretty new updates there. So we've added some quick links here to the issue health and the risk health. So if you click on the issue health, you can get straight to the issues and risks and start to work with those, et cetera, et cetera. So for all of you who are very familiar with SharePoint and working on the back end of lists and configuring those lists, we give you access directly to the list that this data is being pulled from. So this link here, Azure DevOps Rollout Task List, if you click on that, you can get taken straight to the SharePoint view of that particular list. This one's presented in Classic View. But it is SharePoint Online, and so you can go straight to the list and massage that data as needed, just ensuring that you're not removing any columns or anything like that that may be required for Project Management Central to operate. But this gives you access to this list to be able to customize, add some workflows, share some permissions, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. I think I've touched on everything here for our Project Management Central application and the updates that have come in it. I don't see any questions that have come through yet, and that's okay. If you want to send those to me in email through sales@bamboosolutions.com. I appreciate that, and I will definitely get you an answer. A couple of more slides to step through though here before we go. So these are the current CloudPart offerings we've got there. That does not include the new ones that are just about to be released: KPI column, filter collection, and Navigator. I didn't talk much about Navigator, but Navigator is about to change drastically to add more functionality. Currently, our Bamboo Navigator CloudPart gives you the capabilities to roll up web parts on a page into a tabbed navigation. So it would go and see all the web parts you have on a specific page and put them in tab navigation, so that if each web part gets its own tab. But we're adding a lot to that product to make it more robust and full of features, and one of them being that global navigation to provide you and your organization across your whole tenant, no matter whether it's cross-site collection or not. So there's those products. So if you're interested in contacting us, we have a great contact form there to collect the information we need from you to get in touch with you. They're on our website, the Contact Us orange button in the top right corner, as well as we have a brand new shop. And so if you're looking for trials of our products and you are on premises, then you need to go through the contact form on our website. But if you're, because I take that back, we have them on both sites now. If you're looking for CloudPart trials, you may want to contact us though. The shop that we have, shop.bamboosolutions.com, now has get 30-day trial buttons on most of our product pages, as I highlighted here, so you can access them there, kind of go through the process on your own, self-serve. We prefer that because the automated process is so much faster than you contacting us and us asking you questions and the back and forth, right? But if you do have questions, feel free to contact us and schedule some time with us or request a trial. We also have a sandbox environment that gives you 30 days to log into a Sharepoint site with all of our products installed. So if you're interested in testing out any of our products at all, you can do that. No cost at all. So please feel free to request that through our contact form. Again, I'm Kevin Townsend. I go by K Creative online. I do live stream a lot for Bamboo Solutions, or more than I probably should. So Wednesdays and Fridays, I think we may stop doing the Wednesdays, but Fridays for sure, we do our weekly newsletter Roundups. So if you're interested in getting plugged into a newsletter that gives you the latest news in the Sharepoint space, there's a link down there on the bottom for the Bitly's SP Roundup. Please use that and register. It's an amazing newsletter. So anyways, every Friday I live stream on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. To anyone that wants to come hang out and talk about the news, I go through that newsletter, item for item, and just kind of talk about the latest stuff in the Sharepoint space. So if you're looking for like a nice interactive community to be a part of that's very Sharepoint focused, please do join me. I'd love to have you. That's all I've got today. So if you're looking to get in touch with us, I've told you a couple of ways already, but there's the links. And yeah, please don't be a stranger. Thank you all for jumping on today. I will stick around for another minute or two just to answer any questions that may come up here at the very end. So if you do have them, feel free to go ahead and put those into the GoToWebinar question and answer forum there. And otherwise, I will just be right back. And thank you all again.